Today, I'm going to teach you two amazing builds for faction transporting, if not the best builds in the game, if you are looking to do faction heart transport missions in Albion Online. Let's get right into it. So the first build uses the Elite Winter Bear, and the reason we use this mount is because compared to the other bears, it has a 90% gallop speed, so you'll spend less time traveling. It's also one of the tankier bears with more health and more armor, and because you may not be a Fort Sterling person, you can still use Winter Call, which is a really nice move speed boost compared to the other bears. Out of all the bears, this is the tankiest mount for faction transporting that you should be using. Not a single solo player will be able to dismount you with this bear. You are undismountable if a solo attacks you. Even a duo is going to chase you across multiple map tiles to try to dismount you. Alright, they're going to have a really hard time. Now, a large group might be able to dismount you, but you should be able to at least sneak away from their first few attempts and act accordingly, which I can get into later in the video on how to avoid and how to not get ganked. And here's how it works. When you're doing a heart transport on the bear, right now I can go to the heart transport, and if I do a Limhurst major contract, because we only care about the majors, that's where the profit's at, you can see you have to stay below 100% weight, so 56% after accepting the quest, okay? I do have a few things in my inventory, I'm going to talk about that later. And you have to keep the quest item in your inventory, right? So the way it works is if I'm out transporting and someone kills the bear, I lose that bonus carry weight that the bear gives me, which is 3,090 kilograms. And when that happens, I fail the mission, I won't be able to move, and the gankers will be able to kill me and take a fraction of the hearts. I'll lose the other hearts, so it's a big loss. 15 hearts is quite a bit of silver. But this build, let me go over the items as well and why we pick certain items, will allow you to take almost the least amount of damage. Yeah, you could use an Avalonian chest piece instead of Guardian armor, but it's going to save you like maybe 2 whole points of damage. And you could use an Avalonian shield instead of the regular shield. But again, it's only going to negate maybe a few points of damage. Not worth it. The Elder Shield also negates a whole 1% of crowd control time, which I'm going to go over all this too. But here's the gear set, okay? We're going to be using the Fort Sterling cape, and it doesn't matter what tier it is. I just have this 4.1 because it had the elite, the excellent banner. Anyway, what this does is it's going to cleanse all crowd control effects and debuffs whenever you get stunned, silenced, or rooted, and this can activate while you're on your mount. This is the only cape that activates while you're mounted, by the way. So it's mandatory. If someone crowd controls you, you just ignore it. And then for the next 2 minutes, you just got to be on high alert. We're using a plate helmets purely for the toughness defense passive. We're using a guardian armor, again, for the defense passive. And that's pretty much it, because guardian armor has a decent amount of armor, magic resistance, and crowd control resistance compared to the other armors. There's only 2 armors that beat it. And that is the Armor of Valor is by far the best one, okay, for this. However, it's so much more expensive, and it's only going to save you like a few points of damage. The next best one would be Judicator Armor. Again, it's only going to save you maybe 1 point of damage. It's just not worth the cost, in my opinion. Alright, and then for boots, any plate boots so that you can get the passive toughness. You don't have to use Courier because the bear is doing all the lifting. For your offhand, the shield is super cheap. It gives you crowd control resistance and defense versus players, which is what we care about. If you want to upgrade this for a huge, massive cost, you would go with the Astral Aegis, because it gives you more passive defense, and you don't really need the crowd control resistance the shield gives. Let me explain that. Crowd control resistance. Right now on the bear, crowd control effects are only going to last 9.8 of their total duration. If I take the shield off, it's now 11% instead of 9.8. So I gain 1.2% duration decrease. And for the math nerds out there, if something was to hold me down for 10 seconds, which there's nothing in the game that will do that, but if it did, that 1.2% the shield gives me 0.14 seconds worth of extra time to start moving again. Like, not even an eighth of a second? It's insane. It's totally pointless to stack crowd control resistance, and that's also why we go with defense on our armor pieces instead of tenacity, because again, it's a small fraction of an amount. It's not worth it. The bear does all the crowd control resistance we need here. It has plus 554 on it, okay? And that's why we only suffer 9.8% of the total duration. For our armor, we are 87% physical resistant and 86% magic resistant, so we're barely going to take any damage, okay? And the bear has a ton of HP at almost 3,800 HP for the bear. It's pretty damn good. It's going to take a team of gankers to take you out on the bear, and they're going to have to follow you around for a little while. It's most likely too much work for them to be worth it, and groups of gankers don't really gank transport hearts because the profit margin just isn't there. This is going to pretty much protect you from solo gankers like myself. It is one of my main sources of income in Albion Online is ganking solo transports. So it's kind of detrimental for me to make this video, but I'm going to do it just because I like you guys so much. But there is a second build that's actually much faster than this, and I'm going to explain that one. The second build for heart transports is going to be the Elite Wild Boar build, and I'm going to explain this one now. The reason you would use this build over the bear is because it is so much faster, and you have a fighting chance to save your hearts if you are dismounted. It is easier to dismount you, and a solo dedicated player such as myself can dismount this character. However, after dismounting this technical character, it is very hard to catch and kill them, and I'm going to explain all of it and even show it off how this works. So, with the Wild Boar, you move at a 120% move speed, and the coolest thing about the Boar is that when you're dismounted, this passive ability, Courier, is still activated while you are dismounted. So that means you can still carry the package. Right now, if I go to the mission and I go to the major contract, with the mount, I'm at an 87.43% chance, or 87.43% carry weight after being dismounted. While mounted, it doesn't matter. So I can still move around at full speed when dismounted. Okay, the mount only has 1,234 health. It doesn't have nearly as much armor or crowd control resistance, unfortunately, but we do. We have full 8-3 armor on, and I'm going to explain why I have this specific items on, okay? So the way the Boar works is you just ride around, and you'll be running at a very fast speed. You even have a little active ability, which you should be using because you don't want to put yourself in combat using your dismounted Q ability. But for the items, this is why I'm using these specific items, okay? Guardian Helmet. The way this works is you're going to be using the emergency shield, because if you're dismounted or trying to mount up, you can shield and then mount up, and as long as they don't break your shield, you cannot be interrupted while remounting. It also cleanses damage over times, very good against curse stabs. It gives you a huge shield, so it's basically like an extra 1,000 health. I'm going to get more into that later and show you why that's super important. The second one is the Guardian Armor here. You generally don't want to tag other players with this because it puts you in combat. So you generally won't be using Enfeeble Aura unless you are in a very, bad situation and you're if you're jumped by 10 guys, you need to use this so they don't kill you. For boots, there's going to be two different boots, okay? If you're lazy, you could use Wanderlust. It's not the best choice. It's what I use because it's what I like Wanderlust. I'm used to it. However, the better choice is the Demon Boots. And the reason why you're going to use Demon Boots with Vengeful Spirit is because this is going to combine with all of your equipment and give you a much higher, speedier way to get away quicker. When you activate this at the right time, you will move much further distance than with Wanderlust, okay? So you're also still going to be using the shield, and this time the crowd control resistance is very important, so you get held down the entire time. Combined with your plate armor, you'll be fine. The reason we use a mace is for the maximum health it grants, which is going to combine with our beef sandwich, which grants max health, which will combine with our Gigantify potion, which is based on our max health, which will combine with our Undead Cape, which activates when you are below a percentage of health, which will combine with the Demon Boot ability Vengeful Spirit. So the way this all works is when you are dismounted, using the mace, you'll use your movement abilities to try to run away from your opponents. You probably won't be able to, though. Try not to hit them with those abilities so you're not put in combat with them, okay? You're going to be using your shield to withstand their damage. Each one of these little life bars, you see how I have 5 yellow bars on under my name here? Each of those represents 20% of your maximum HP. When this last yellow bar is about 1/3 of the way down, that is your 15% mark. And that's when your Undead Cape activates, which turns you invisible for 6 seconds, and it will not break invisibility if you take damage, if you deal damage, etc. Now, another player can unstealth you with a certain, ability, but they almost never run that for ganking groups. So the way this all works is as you run from your opponent to get to the next zone, you're going to have this beef sandwich popped, and let me show you, just with tier 8-3, I have 3,661 HP. The only thing I have maxed out is the boots and the shield. Nothing else is maxed out. Like the mace, it still has plenty of spec to go. I'm only at 43. I think I'm at 44 on my armor. The helmet is even lower. So I can still get plenty more HP from my spec. Okay, and the helmet was actually 52. With beef sandwich, check out my HP. 3,661. It is now 4,155, okay? And then, when my HP gets low, like say about around 1,000, because my cape will activate around 600 something HP, I pop the Gigantify potion. That's going to give me an extra huge amount of HP. And then, as soon as that cape activates, I would activate the demon boots, and I'm just out of there. For the next 6 seconds, because I'm invisible, they can't purge the boots, and I'm going to be running at 260% move speed or something like that, and I'm just going to be gone. I will be able to run several screens outside of their render distance, and then mount up, or just change zones. You can just run across half a zone with the boots alone while you're invisible, and you're super, super tanky, okay? The Gigantify potion is there to ensure that we can survive the onslaught while we go down to 15% max HP. It's that simple, it's that powerful, and like I said, because the mount gives you courier, you can move around at full speed with your hearts, and you'll be able to remount and get away, and you're a fast mount. It's hard to chase this thing. The only real way a solo player can chase you is if they use the Bridge Watch faction mount's ability, and the only way they can use that ability is to be flagged for Bridge Watch. So my recommendation is that if you're doing heart transports, do them as Bridge Watch so that you will never encounter an elite terror bird that can chase you down. Alright, so I'm going to show you what this looks like now. I'm going to equip the demon boots, and I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever I get beat up and need to run away. Alright, I'm going to use an enemy camp because I'm flagged as Bridge Watch, so this Limhurst camp will pretend to be my gankers. I'm doing a heart transport, just pretend for me. Oh no, I'm being ganked, I'm being held down, oh no. They don't really hurt me that bad, but that's okay, they're gonna start hurting. Oh, I'm dismounted, help, what do I do? Ouch, 20% life, ouch, ouch, 40%. Oh no, I might die, 60%. Here it comes. There's the 80%, pop the Gigantify, I'm invisible, I'm zooming, I'm just running. I'm gone. Look how far away I can get while invisible. Look at this. Look how much distance I covered right there, okay? They don't know which direction I ran, so they have to guess. I got 4 seconds. Look at this. I can still get away. One of their scouts just found me. I'm mounting up. Here comes their nameplate. Here comes their nameplate. I'm gone. I'm already gone. And guess what? It's going to take them more than 2 minutes to do that again. Look at my HP. I don't have like a food buff. I have the beef sandwich, but look at the HP regeneration that the mace gives me, and the armor being in plate armor, right? They're like, I've already reached the border here. They cannot catch me, okay? And I can do this every 2 minutes, even without the Gigantify potion, which, by the way, those are super cheap. They're 400 silver each, okay? The higher tiers are about 2,000. They're not really worth it. And look, I've got a bubble now, so I can just use that to my advantage. And hey, there's a chest on the map here. It unlocks in 3 minutes. This is also a great build for nabbing chests, by the way. Obviously, don't touch chests while you're doing a faction transport. That would be horrible, but the same thing. If these guys want to fight me over this chest and I have this set on, then it will be absolutely easy to run away before I get downed, because, again, I am full tank mode. So, looks like they're calling me out in the chat. Anyway, guys, that's my 2 builds. The Demon Boots, absolutely great choice for zooming away hyper fast. I also prefer Wanderlust, which is a good and cheap and easy choice. I just use Wanderlust because it's what I'm used to using. Anyway, guys, that has been Faction Heart Transporting. If you've made it this far in the video, I do want to tell you that faction heart transporting is a horrible way to make silver, and you should never ever do it, okay? Why though? Why do you say that? Okay, yes, it makes you silver, but it takes a long time to do. You have so much risk, and your gankers have zero risk. The people ganking you for your hearts, they lose nothing. They might get a repair bill if someone downs them, but they're not going to be downed, okay? You get no combat fame, you get no faction rep, you get no combat fame credits, you get no rep, you get nothing but more hearts for more silver. And there are so many other activities that you can do in the game to generate more silver per hour than heart transports for the time that you invested. Even with the Wild Boar build, which again moves at 120%, it's still too slow. You should not do faction heart transports ever, but hey, hopefully this video helped you out if you want to do them. If your friend is like, hey, let's do faction heart transports and watch anime, and you're like, okay, whatever, sure. You should use a build like this, okay? Thank you so much for watching. I read every comment, and I post videos every single day, so make sure you're subscribed and leave a comment, leave a like as well, of course, of course. And if you want to financially support me, help me out, click the thanks button down below, leave a donation, click the join button to become a channel member, check out the pinned comment. There is a members-only playlist. If any of those videos interest you, then feel free to become a channel member. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Take care.